Welcome to this poolside chat. This is a follow-up to our masculine-feminine discussion. And we always work with men and talk about leading themselves, leading their wife, leading their family. We talk about leadership. Mm-hmm. And yes, I know I have to still always do that. There's a huge difference between open-hearted leadership and dictatorship, okay?
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest mistakes that women make is thinking that by allowing him to lead, we think less of her, or that in any way it shows weakness.
You know, and coming from the background that I came from, that was a very difficult thing for me to really adjust to. And I'm not saying specifically with you, but you know, it's kind of the way that it was treated before. It doesn't mean that you're, just going to capitulate.
No.
Doesn't mean that you're going to not have an opinion. Doesn't mean that you don't get to make some decisions.
Yeah. And I factor your opinion and I ask for input when I'm working on things or making decisions because we're a team, but somebody has to make the decisions. And I just saw a post I responded to. Both people are getting, a husband and wife are both getting out of the military. And they're moving back home and she wants to buy a $300,000 house because it's in her mind she needs that. And they don't know what their financial situation is going to look like. Oh, we could do a VA loan, 0 down. And he's not comfortable with it. And I said, here's what you need to do. You need to sit down with her and explain that this is not the time to be committing to a $2,000 a month mortgage when we're not sure how everything's going to be. And leadership for him, I said, is going to look like you lovingly have this discussion. There's nothing wrong with renting, especially since the interest rates are high and will come down in a few years. Till you figure out where you want to live in this town and a few other things. And at the end of the day, it means not being afraid to tell her, I am not going to take out a mortgage for $300,000 on a house.
Right. You guys should absolutely be unified on that. And
right.
If you're not, one of you is going to have to put your foot down.
and we see unhealthy, and I won't call it leadership, but we've seen men be the one driving this bus towards the cliff. And in this case, the wife is. But I've seen plenty of men do it. And they let their ego, and I said, do you even have a budget? Do you know, what are your jobs once you transit? So there's so many unknowns. Just because you can do something doesn't make it smart, doesn't make it the right thing to do. But nice guys are afraid of upsetting mommy.
Right. And women are afraid of allowing someone else to lead. Mm-hmm. Now, this is in part because they've been around the nice guys or been around the guys who are dictators or just not doing a good job of leading in general, right? And so that's something that I would encourage more women to work on is, you know what? Just because he's doing it his way doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't mean that you didn't have any say in it. There were a few times that I kind of, when we were going somewhere, I'm thinking, am I just blindly following, or do I actually have a problem with anything that's going on? No, I don't actually have a problem with anything that we're doing.
Hey, there's extra restroom stops on road trips. Far more than I need.
But this is true. Might have a small bladder. But, he's making decisions because, honestly, building you ever heard the expression that camel is a horse built by committee?
Oh, I have.
Too many cooks can spoil the stew. Mm-hmm.
But again, I was thinking when we were planning a trip, I go, so here's what I'm thinking.
Right.
And I asked for input.
Yeah.
Because when you've got a good partner who's done work on herself and you're both are in a healthy place,
True.
My greatest gift is my leadership.
Yeah.
And you have no concerns of speaking up if something doesn't feel
Yeah.
right or hits you wrong, because I'm not going to react like a little boy and get all upset. So something to keep in mind for all of you. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.